Single parent black metal. This is what my friend called Beyond Helvete's debut album back in 2011. Now with this term, he use of words, he basically described this kind of a solo project, like where you have only one member who is taking care of everything, like a single mom, you know. And with this band, it was very, very accurate considering how many minor flaws there were with these albums. And unfortunately now, some 9 years later, those same kind of flaws are still very much present. Anyway, what we have here is Beyond Helvete from Germany with the third album called MMXX. Not exactly the most original and superior title for an album. In my opinion, you really can't get much boring title for an album but to name it in Roman letters and to say, hey, this is of 2020. Well, maybe there is some other meaning to that, but I don't know. So there's the only one member of the band, and here are the lyrics for the track of the album. The year of thoughts, the year of fault, the year of chaos. If that was the idea to guess how the year of the coronavirus, COVID-19 is gonna be, yes, it's exactly that. Lots of thoughts. Here is how the CD looks like, released by Immortal Frost Productions in late September. Less than 30 minutes of music, style, black metal, and those were good sides about this album. Now, definitely a good side of this album is it runs only 29 minutes and then some, because to be honest, this is very, very mediocre album in so many ways. And actually, there's some parts of this album which make it less than a mediocre. Now, let's first stick to the better parts. The riffs are not totally useless. There are some okay parts, there's some almost good ones, and let me think. Yeah, that's it. Now the downsides of this album is it's mostly made with so-called bulk riffing. Nothing really shines, it's more like, yeah, I kind of get what you're after, but if you make album with bulk riffs, it's gonna get very, very boring very, very quickly, and unfortunately that is exactly what's going on with this album. Now I didn't find a single song which I could call decent. It's mediocre at best. And yeah, if only that was the only downside of this album, I would be a very happy boy, but I'm not. Now, the worst part definitely on this album is the use of vocals. I mean, usually when we're talking about black metal, you get all kind of shrieks, you get screams, you get this kind of raspy vocals. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about Burzum or Darkthrone or, I don't know, whatever band. You usually get the idea what you're about to have with black metal. This one is like a karaoke version of some guy having been drinking the whole night and then going to a bar and trying to sing some Finnish metal. Not exactly clean vocals, definitely not screamy or raspy vocals, but kind of like growling. Like, hey, it's gonna be like this, man, yeah. If I was to sing all the way this album, nobody would listen to it. But I feel that's what exactly going on with MMXX. Now the vocals are just horrible. I know my colleague used to say about this 2011 album that without those vocals the album would be roughly 7 out of 10 because it has some decent riffs, but with these vocals and all that stuff it was something like 4 out of 10 roughly. And before reading this review, I mean, I was like, okay, these vocals are quite bad. I wouldn't go as far to say they are that bad. I mean, to drop from 7 to 4. But let's be honest about it. I really cannot imagine a lot worse vocals for a black metal album. They are really that hard. And being a solo project, I guess there's nobody to say like, hey, no, don't do it. But what this album or this kind of music would definitely need is sort of a producer. Maybe even a best friend that knows something about something in terms of metal would say, don't use that riff, definitely don't sing like that, etc. Now, sound-wise, this album is somewhat decent, so it's not like a disaster. And definitely a lot better than what I'm telling you here. But really, those vocals are horrible. If you can't get past that, it's like a mediocre trip, which you're like, yeah, I get it. With one spin of this album and you're done with it. Really can't recommend this to anybody. It's not horrible, but it's not good. Mediocre minus, let's call it that. Should you have any comments, put them in the comments box below and feel free, spread the hate.